just really great to be here. I think one of the logos of Austin is Keep Austin Weird. I figure that's why they invited us.
I think it's really important for IEEE to be here and to be curating some of the talks here because they've been around forever. They're the largest organization of electrical engineers. Their participation here is very relevant because their members need to know about what's happening at South by Southwest Interactive.
It's kind of the new platform for technology and for society, and it really is going to involve the participation of artists, filmmakers, writers, game developers, and people who haven't traditionally been part of the technical discussion. But I would like to see them involved very early on, at this point, because it's a content environment that we're talking about. It's different from the past. It's not like a smartphone. It's not like even the internet. The artists are really the key piece, I think.
In order to envision the future of healthcare and the future at all, you need to be multidisciplinary and you need to mash up engineers with creative people, with physicians like myself and others in order to create an amazing user experience around things that really need disruption. And IEEE is enabling that.
When the devices I implant became capable of wireless transmission, I realized how much more of an enriched care environment we could provide for patients, and that everything was happening in digital and video and cloud storage, and mobile was becoming the dominant computing platform of our time.
IEEE's put on a session here for the entire time of South by on identity. And so my identity comes from my engineering background, it comes from my telecom background, it comes from what I do in IEEE, both for women in engineering on the technical side, to enable women to do more and to achieve more.
What we're doing here is we have tons of great women in the room, a few men in the room, you're great too. And we don't just want to learn, listen, and leave. We actually learn and listen and actually solve.
We have to disrupt the concept of privacy. We have to be disruptive enough to create relationships, to create the level of trust, the networks within the communities that exist on the different continents.
People should be building apps, services, devices that are thinking about privacy from the get-go, that are taking that into account at a foundational level so that they're not having to react to privacy problems later.
I think South by Southwest is huge because there's just so many opportunities to just learn and expand your network.
This is my favorite party so far at South by Southwest. I love it because all the attendees were extremely interesting and I had so many great conversations here. And I love the exhibits around the edge because they kind of spark conversations.
The IEEE party at South by Southwest 2015 was off the hook. It's really incredible that an organization that's the largest professional organization in the world can put such a cool hip party and such an amazing event here in Austin, Texas.
The advances made by electrical engineers have often been used by neuroscientists to understand how the electrical activity of neurons work. In fact, many of the famous teams of neuroscientists in history have involved a biologist and an electrical engineer working hand in hand. So to ask me what the role is of IEEE in neuroscience is como redundante, it's redundant, so it's obvious. We work together with them every day and will continue to do so.
I think it's important for IEEE to be at South by Southwest this year because the Internet of Things is so important to get right, and technology for humanity is what IEEE is all about.
There's an enormous amount of research going on about ways we can alter our brain function with electricity rather than pharmaceuticals. And the amazing thing is that this is not only going on in clinics and research labs and hospitals, some of this gear is now cheap enough for people to experiment with on their own in their garages and their basements. And this is such a fascinating cutting edge that the IEEE just has to be involved in reporting on it.
Put yourself in the place of a young person who is severely depressed to the point of suicide. And you've been through medications, you've been through counseling, all kinds of different things, and there's just nothing left. And that same individual, you put a TDCS headset on them, treat them for 5 days, and they begin to come out of their depression. Treat them for 30 days, the depression is gone. Now, that isn't something I made up. That's actually case work that's happened in Atlanta and around the world, actually.
If we project into this
this century, there's going to be a long list of bionic interventions that the individual can employ to change, how tall they are, how strong they are, how they think, how they feel, what they experience. And it really, I think it will be the death of normalcy.
I believe passionately that the people have in our authority the capacity to end disability in this century while adhering with absolute obedience to the general principles of human diversity and individual freedoms.
It's important for the IEEE and many organizations, I think, to be at South by Southwest, particularly because of the diverse groups that come together here at South by. And when you consider that often we're working at conferences where we're speaking to people who are within our field, experts within our field, South by is a really refreshing opportunity and actually a high priority opportunity to engage with people and organizations that we might not otherwise have an opportunity to do so.